Good morning, guys. So today I'm super excited to share some new things with you from Local King Rubber Stamps. So Lisa sent over some items for review. Of course, she sent them free of charge, and all opinions are my own. And what's so funny is I had said, okay, on the June 15th, I know she's gonna have a huge sale. So I was like, okay, if I haven't received the stamps yet, I'll use one of the other sets that I haven't reviewed yet for you guys that I picked up myself last month, and let you know about the sale because she's giving us an extra 10% off. So her site is basically 20% off regular prices, and you can check the site for all the details because there's a lot of kind of mix and match and combos and like the whole shebang where you can get everything, like a huge show special. There's all kinds of things going on. And then the 10% I believe is off of regular price purchases. But again, check her site. I'll have the links and the codes there because I know it's kind of a long code and I'll have it written here, but you definitely want to just go ahead and maybe copy and paste it from the description box. And again, to open the description box, to get this question a lot, under the video here, there's going to be a title, right? The title, and right near the title says show more. If you're on a computer, click show more. It opens up the description box, and that's where all the links I always have are, and any other information that's pertinent. And then if you're on a phone or a tablet, I believe over here on this other side, like right next to the title, there's like a little arrow or like a little caret, and if you click on that, it'll expand the description box also. So that's all I know. I don't know if it's different on any other devices. So I was like, oh, I should check my mail because I didn't check my mail on Saturday, and they were there. So I'm like, oh, awesome. This is so great. So she has several new designs. There's like pictures and vases, some pretty kind of animal related ones, and floral type designs. So let me share the ones that she had sent me. And then of course I'll review one today, and then I'll do reviews on the others as we go along here. So yeah, so make sure to check out the sale. I know a lot of you guys already commented on other videos just about other things that you're waiting for her sale today. So it starts today and you guys can see everything there. So this is a Vase 3 combo. And I chose this one because I like the design. She has other ones that look more like perfume bottles or like interesting kind of different vases. I just like the little picture, and it reminds me of things that my mom used to have in the house. So I thought that was really sweet. So or this kind of thing, so it has the picture, and then with the little flowers and birds, and so you have your stamp. And these are a little bit different in that this one says S as a shadow, but I know this one she's saying it's more of a detail and shadow stamp, because this area obviously you're gonna either leave it white or you can color it in. But when you go to color it, and the Local King kind of design, the way she makes them where they're more opaque, right? That's just like what it is, and you color on it. So this does have area that's gonna not have color, even if you did the Local King style. So here you can do the flowers in that style, but then here you can color it in, or you can leave it white, or whatever your paper is. And then the dies have the inner and the outer die, and I've talked about those before, so that nice detail, and then either cut it out or just do a shadow and leave the detail. So all the different ways that you can use those. And these are combos, so they do come together in a set. This one's called Do You See What I See? And what I mean by that is like the stamp and the die, right? Not all these together. But she does have combos sets that you can check out that are priced just, for the whole thing. Do You See What I See combo set is really pretty. I saw this, I was like, yep, it has that beautiful flower I always love. That has the little cattails. Is that what they're called? I remember calling those cattails, but and then the birds, of course. And to me, they look like hummingbirds, but maybe they're just birds, but super cute. I think they are hummingbirds. And again, this one is a shadow stamp, so basically the kind where you color it in the way we do. And I'll do some of that today, but I'm going to do a little something different with it because it's a little bit different. But of course, I'll have this review coming up. And then you have your detail die. And of course, she always has something kind of fun in here. So maybe it looks like on this one, I can't always tell, but I'm assuming there's some kind of something. Yeah, the flower lifts up is what I can see from here. But anyway, really cute. And then this is the one I'm going to use today, is the new sunflower. It has an M and a D for detail, and just a really pretty flower. Again, it kind of goes back to those roses and the fuchsia I did recently. I have a cherry blossom that I'm going to review that I had picked up last time around. And this one's interesting because it says detail. But if you look at it, of course, we're going to color this in, and then you have all this area, the white space that we need to color in. And I'm going to do this in a little different way because people ask me this all the time, if I can basically watercolor these, kind of like what we do with the AI stamps. And I was like, yeah, like I always answer, why not, right? So I'm going to try that today, and I think it's going to be great. And then we have the die, the inner kind of die there with the outer portion. And that makes me wonder, because I am going to do a little watercoloring if I want to cut it out so detailed, or just, I guess you still do. Okay. So that's what I'll be working on today. So this one is called, again, New Sunflower. But you'll see it there on their site. So I was thinking I'm going to put it on a stepper card just to put something. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I have this I had picked up myself. It's the stepper card die set. You know, it doesn't have any information on here, but that's all it is. And then it comes with little corner dies that are kind of like for free. But again, it depends on what sales she has right now. But I'm going to use that. I had brought this this shiny paper out, but I'm not going to use this because now we're going to watercolor, so I'm not going to use that. She also has this little stamp set that probably gets overlooked. It's just a cute little sentiment stamp set, and I've used it before in other videos, so I'll probably use it today. And then some of the, you know, I need a base paper obviously for a stepper, and then I'll probably use some paper from this farmhouse pack because I think it goes real well with sunflowers. You can just see the coloring on the outside is screaming sunflower. And so I'll be using my small set of Local King markers. This is the 24-piece set, and just real quickly because I haven't shown it in a while, I had picked up the whole shebang set the last time, during one of my first or second orders, the huge big guy, and this has 60 markers, and then the 24-piece. So the 24-piece is also in here, so those would be repeat colors, plus there's, what, 38 more colors to make this. So, no, 36, right? Yeah, 36 plus 24. Duh. Okay, 36 more in here. I have not opened this one yet because I figure I'm going to use this up. But at the same time, people have these for 5, 6, 7 years and they're still juicy. So I will open this at one point to try some of the other variations of color, obviously. But for right now, I'm going to stick to the basic set. And I do have some watercolor paper here. And you know what? I think it might fit on here. There's a piece of paper in here that's already cut. So this is just watercolor paper from Crafter's Companions, like kits. So it's basically their basic watercolor paper, I guess I would imagine. And we're gonna cut this out anyway, so I'm trying to see if this will fit on here. I think it'll be okay. If not, I'll cut another piece, obviously. I'm going to cut it out of this, so it doesn't really matter if it has to be sideways for it to work. Sorry, real quick before we get started, I did want to mention that if you want to see the whole lineup or tutorials already using a lot of the new releases, make sure to check out Lisa's YouTube, Local King Rubber Stamp YouTube. I'll have the links in the description box. I'll try to link the video where she talks about pretty much the whole release, and then obviously her channel. She has new videos pretty much daily, so you definitely want to check those out. She has so many ideas. Yeah, it's amazing. So, okay, let's get started. So we have two sides here. Obviously, we have the little grainy side and we have the smooth side. And a lot of times I like to use the smooth side. Do whatever you like, but I think today I'm going to use the smooth side. You know, if you have other watercolor paper, sometimes both sides are bumpy. So it just has to, you know, just check your paper. And either way, it doesn't matter. You can use either side. I just wanted to use the smooth side today. And I'm going to get this guy out. And let me see if he's not too big to go in here. Okay. Yeah, that'll be great. So, what I like about the new, what she's been doing for the last few years actually, is putting color on the little carrier sheet so you can kind of have an idea of what the thing should look like. As far as where the details are. I'm not saying like, oh, I have to color it like this, but you know, the yellow, the petals, where the middle obviously is. Sometimes it's tricky to see where the leaves start and end. So I'm gonna keep this in front of me just so I can have an idea of that. But other than that, I'm just gonna go for it. So let me grab a couple of greens, and these are very, not similar, but more of the deeper greens. Like this one's a light green. I'm gonna use those two, and I'm gonna use, let me see what this looks like here. This one is brown. I'm going to use this one and this one. And then the orange and the yellow, I suppose. Again, in the other kit, I could probably get another yellow that's not as bright, because this is going to be super bright compared to the orange. But let me try these two oranges out real quick. There's that one. Yeah, I like the lighter. This one's brighter, more of a reddish tone, so I'm just going to go with these guys. I think that's all we're going to need. So, I'm going to start with the petals, and I want them orange at the base and then going out to yellow. So I'm just going to kind of go around here. Again, you try to keep your pen at an angle so that it actually catches the color, so it's not flat, but just kind of laying it a little bit flatter. And then I'm going to go in with the yellow. And you could have done the yellow first if you don't want to contaminate, but you can just wipe off whatever orange gets on your yellow marker. You can see it goes all the way out to here. And I suppose we could do this guy at the same time. Orange down at the base, yellow at the tips. And all you have to do to get the color off of your marker, if it gets a little bit like this one has orange, just wipe it away on something else. And it might still have that little color, but it still marks yellow. I know I'm off camera, so you can't see that, but it'll be fine. And then I'm going to take the brown, I'm going to take the lighter brown. Actually, I should have done that darker brown. So I'm going to get the darker and get it in there. And come back with the lighter brown. That's what I want here. And you can even take some of that darker brown around the very edge, because it's going to start tucking into where the flower starts. And then our green. So I think this one's lighter than the other, but we'll see. Go in here. Just gonna do these two little areas real quick, and then I'm gonna come in with the brighter green, or a little deeper. And then we have our leaves down here at the bottom that I'm just gonna go over. And again, this one is a detail, so there's gonna be a lot of lines. Usually it kind of runs over smoothly, like in this middle part. There's gonna be a lot of lines here that we need to make sure we're hitting. It's gonna be good. I hope that's good. And I can still see it's pretty wet, but I always like to kind of give it a little huff, which is just breathing on it. And I'm going to turn this right here. And since this is a detail stamp, I probably don't even have to squeeze as much as I am, but I really like to make sure everything is stamped, especially since I didn't use a stamping tool. So I'm really trying to... Perfect. Okay. And what's cool about this, what we're going to do, is that it doesn't matter if it's completely perfect. Oh, I put those in the wrong spot. Alright. So, I'm going to use a water brush. Now, if you are barely doing this to begin with and you're not real sure about water brushes, and this one is actually kind of big, even for what I want to do right now, I would probably use a smaller one, but this one already has water in it, so I'm going to use it. You can just use a regular small, brush, and then just dip it in water as you go, okay? So I'm going to start, I guess I can start with these greens. So what I'm going to do is, again, you just kind of touch the area where the color is and bring it to where there isn't color. So I'm going to close up a little bit more. And I'm not squeezing this, just whatever water is there, I'm just bringing it out. And you don't have to do too much. I mean, you don't, as you can see, I'm just kind of touching it just barely. And then I'm still going to do the stem just to darken it up and just to give it a watercolor look. You don't have to rub the stem at all because it's pretty green, but... And I'm just bringing some of that color in. Now, we can darken that up in just a minute, okay, if you feel like, oh, it needs more. So I'm going to do all the green right now because that's what's on my water brush. And again, I'm just kind of following along. And I'm not obliterating, I'm not like really rubbing. You can see I'm barely just kind of touching it and bringing that color out. If that's too white, you can come back in there. And then again, if you want to bring in more color, I can just keep rubbing this color, but I don't want to obliterate the lines. So if you're seeing that, oh, maybe it's not moving as much as I would like, I want a little bit more of that green, just put some down on anything. I can even use on a plastic wrapper here. Pick up some of the green and then bring it in that way, right? As you can see, that's a lot brighter, if that's what you want, okay? So, or just put it like on an acrylic block or yeah, the block I just stamped with would have been good. All right, so let's keep going. And I'm just pulling that color out and in. Again, the reason I like to just go ahead and get some off of a pad is because, like, let's say here, I don't want to keep rubbing it and get rid of the detail. So if I just bring in some color that I picked up off of that packaging, I'm still getting the color from it. You can do that without messing up too much your image here. So this brown part, I'm just going to kind of go in here and just wet it. I'm not really trying to do much because it has like little spots of white that I want to keep there as far as the detail. So I'm just kind of wetting that. And I guess one other tip I can give as far as when you go to color your things, do the deeper color towards the center going out to the lighter colors, right? Because that's kind of how you would color it anyway. So in the center we have the deeper shadow, and then just pull that out towards that yellow. You can bring the yellow down in too if you wanted to bring the yellow first, but I like to kind of just go from the middle and go out. Hopefully you guys like this. And I get this question a lot because people ask me a lot of times when I use my Tombos or other things if I can use the Local King brushes in the same way. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Yeah, you guys know I always like to say, yeah, why not? So let me get a little color down on here. And it's the smallest amount. You do not need that much. And as you can see, that yellow is still super yellow even though the orange was on there. I just want to get a little more in here. Hopefully you guys like this. It's really quick, easy. To me, there's no wrong or right here. You just... And as you saw, I dipped into the orange and the yellow, and it made a lighter orange in my brush. And you can even add in some brown, because these are sunflowers. You know, you just get a little brown and pull it up in there too. Okay. I like that. Let me write a little more orange around here. So pretty. Okay, and then the last one is this little bud here. Okay, I have not squeezed this at all. Okay, it's just whatever moisture is on the brush will help you. Blend that out. And as you saw, there's no rush to come in here and start, you know, blending out the color or anything like that, because the marker is there, and once you wet it, it reconstitutes right on the paper. And again, this is watercolor paper, so it does make it a little bit easier to do that with. And put a little more accent there. And I think that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to wait for this to dry just a second, and in the meantime, we'll go ahead and cut out the stepper card. I'll be right back. Okay, so while that's drying, I just cut down this piece of Centura Pearl. It came in a pack, and it's kind of an interesting color. I never even noticed it. I kind of overlooked it, I guess, because it's kind of an odd color, but I think it's good for this project. So I'm going to score it at 4.5 just so I know where to line up my little stepper card, but you don't have to actually score it because the stepper card actually will score it for you, but that's just for me to know where to place it. But you can always just measure it with a ruler and put a little line or something. Move that to the side, and I have a piece of tape here from the last time I used it, and I'll use it again today. And so that line, basically this line that's running this way, you are going to lay on your score line, and basically just line up these little carrots, there are little divots that are in here on that line, right? So I can see it perfectly here, and on this side here. And I'm just going to put a piece of tape. And I'm going to run this through my Empress because it's right here next to me, but you know, you can use whatever machine will accommodate this. This is 5.5 inches wide, so it will not go through your diamond press because, well, yeah, it just won't do it. And the other direction doesn't make sense, so that's why it's not going to work. But just want to show you real quick. Sizing on that, but your die definitely will. if you picked up the set, this will go through your marquee. And I already cut my paper down to 5.5 by 8.5, so if I didn't mention that, I don't recall mentioning it. Oopsie. Alright, so we have our card here. And again with a stepper card, and I always have to kind of play with it, like what goes back. This kind of side goes up, back, up. Actually, let's start here. Let's start with the small side, because that'll make it easier for you to imagine. There. So either way, I mean, you can start from the back or the front, but that's your stepper. So again, I'm going to measure these pieces so I can get something cut out to go in these areas, and then we'll cut out our sunflower and put it all together. Okay, so I have my little pieces here. So basically, what I like about this set is that these areas are not weird measurements. Okay, so this is 3 by 2. So if you wanted to put a whole mat that's in there 3 by 2, you know, that'd be great. I went a little bit smaller. So for me, I cut them down to 2 7/8 by 1 7/8. Now again, if you don't want to work with those little numbers, don't do it. You know, you can just not do that. Let me grab some distressing ink. Okay, so I'm Magic Mushroom here, and I have frayed burlap. I think that's a nice color for this. And so again, this is 1 by 7/8, 1 7/8 by 2 7/8, and I'm just adding a little color on the edges. It's not anything too technical here. Okay, and then this middle piece is 7/8 by 2 7/8, because that little area is 1 by 3. And then what was funny is that paper had a perfect piece of paper, just said sunflower, but I didn't realize it was stamped kind of crooked, or it's marked crooked, because the paper was kind of just like this, plain at the bottom. It was just like stamped. And so I tried to cut it as straight as I could, but it was kind of a hard thing to do. But this little piece of paper right in front can be 1 1/4 by 3. So I did 1 1/8 by 2 7/8. Again, if you don't want to mess with those, just leave it the way with the larger sizes, or cut it down 1/4, right? So if you don't want to do eighths, this back one can be 2 3/4 by 1 3/4, and this one would be 3/4 by 2 3/4, and this one would be 1 by 2 3/4. Okay. I'm going to put this piece here, and I'm using a wet glue so I can have some time to manipulate it so I can lay it down right. And I mean, you can lay this completely flat. I don't know why I always build it up when it's sitting up. And then we have this little guy. I like that frayed burlap distress ink. I haven't used it in a long time. Again, this little guy goes right here. So you're skipping every other one, basically. It's a nice kind of light brown. I used to always just use walnut stain, and I know that one's kind of deep, so maybe it's not something for everything, but okay. So I'm gonna let those dry for a little bit, and I'm gonna bring this back and our die for that. I kind of decided what I want to do. There's already a lot going on with the watercoloring. Like, do I really need to emboss it and do everything else? I don't know. And I don't know that I want it super delicate. I think I'm going to cut both things out, because it is going to kind of be sitting on its own, and I want it to have a little bit of sturdiness. Or you can do the flower and then do a backing piece of paper. You know, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So I am going to do just this delicate middle part. And again, I am eyeballing that. You can always run through the die with another piece of paper so you can make yourself a little aperture to look through so you can cut it right on the lines. But these cut so close to the lines, like it's easy to kind of just see through and make sure you're kind of lining things up. Like where this little leaf is and where these guys are. And then where this guy's coming up, you know, I can see it's a little bit off, so it needs to go this way a little bit. So just kind of line it up. So yeah, I'm just gonna run it through. If you wanted to do the embossing, you can put a piece of foam under this if you're using your marquee, run it through, or just run it through, you know, your any other machine and do the embossing separately. Let me bring this up a little bit. It's not too claustrophobic there. So normally if you were using a machine that embosses, it would push everything up in there too. It is kind of pushed in there, which is kind of interesting because this machine has so much pressure, it really wants to, you know, get in there. But what I'm gonna do right now is go ahead and cut this guy out. And just be careful with him. And this is really nice thick watercolor paper, so that also kind of helps. And Lisa's tip is to rub this, your dye, with a dryer sheet before you go to cut so that it just pops out real easy. I'm just being very careful here. Look at that. And then you have all your little leaves and things that pop up that is so cute. I love that. And this one has a ton of them. So we'll go through that in a minute. What I'm gonna do is just run this outer dye with some of the paper, that brown, same brown paper I've been using, I think. Well, you know what, maybe not, because, let me see, they have another, where's my little image? So I'm just gonna go through and find a piece of paper that I think might look nice. Maybe this one. And I'm gonna just cut out this guy. I'll be right back. Okay. Let me put this back on the carrier here. And bring this little guy back. And we're gonna glue this down, but again, I always like to pay attention to the back. I usually use like a smaller spout, like this one has, just so I can get exactly where I want it and not get those areas that can be lifted up, right? And if you want to leave some of the edges free, you can do that and then have those move too. Do you know what I'm saying? Just kind of pop these up a little bit. But I can see that there's another flower there. Okay. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this part. I usually don't like smashing on the side, so I try to turn it over just in case, but I don't think that would smear. I don't see why it would, but you never know. And let me get just so you can kind of see these a little better. So another one, where was the other one? Right here. I suppose this one you can kind of have a little kiss cut if you wanted that up too, but okay, really pretty. And so all we're going to do is pop this on here in just a minute. But for the sentiment, again, like I said, we can, how pretty, very fall. I have an extra piece of that little brown paper I had cut down, so I'm just going to stamp this sentiment. And let me grab a block, this one will work. And I'm just going to use the same Distress ink. Hopefully that looks nice. I don't know if it's dark enough to stamp really well with. Hey, not bad. A little distressy looking. I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit, and then I'm just going to fussy cut it. And what I mean by that is I'm going to take my scissors. You can always cut it out with like maybe a nesting die, like a nice rectangular shape or whatever. Just get that on there. But I'm going to go around this and kind of just trim around in a fun way, okay? And I will be right back. Okay, got that. And just a little more distressing around the edges. And I wanted to stick this in that middle section to kind of just pop up. So I just need a little bit of glue on the very bottom of the words because I want it to kind of pop into this area. Okay, something like that. And I use the same paper from here, but if you wanted the paper to pop a little different, you know, you can choose something else, obviously. And let me see, where do I want to put this guy? let's go ahead and pop that guy up. So thanks for watching, guys. This was a fun, quick in my opinion. Obviously, I'm talking, if I was just doing this on my own without, you know, kind of going slowly so you can kind of see how I'm pulling the color and all that, this would have taken just probably 10 minutes, if even 10 minutes. So really nice, quick card, very artsy, and people will be impressed, I think. I'm not going to put too much glue, let me do that to there. And this is the 3D glue gel, Colol 3D glue gel. There's always a link in the description box for it. But again, I don't keep up on inventory or if it's there or not or any of that kind of stuff. So that's something you guys can check out on your own there. And I'm going to put this here. Push that down. And that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the tutorial. As you can see that you can use the Local King markers as watercolor markers, and much in the same way the Tombows work. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. And again, the links will be in the description box with all the pertinent information you need for your discount. And I will see you guys at the next one. Bye now.